What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check. And no, this is not Tackle. Tackle's simply not happening this month because of timing and shit, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the people on the panel, Kristen and Guapo and Steven and OKayFabe. I'm going to be away next week, which means I couldn't do it on the proper Wednesday, and I kept on dicking around on the days on them. So the fact that there's no Tackle this month is all on me. Because I thought I might be doing Tackle, there was no The Fights on Wednesday night. So, The Fights on Wednesday night hopefully will come back in 2 weeks, which is when NXT Unbreakable is happening, so that's a good time to bring that series back. This is something I don't do very often on this channel, and it's kind of going to be off the cuff. I've got a couple of references over here, but I haven't actually written anything down. I just want to have this sort of be conversational, so there's going to be a lot of and a lot of and I'm going to sort of be thinking off the cuff. And as I say, I don't do these videos very often. These are topical videos in nature. Like I'll do a top 10 list, you know, why I don't like Daniel Bryan or whatever like this. But I mean, little news bits. Stuff that Sean's View Entertainment is popular for. And this, I don't expect this video to be that good. To be real, if you want to see topical videos like this, hey, this bit of news popped up and here's what I think of it, two people you really should check out are Heel Steven, who does his little, here's what's just been announced, here's my little blurb on it, and OKayFabe, when he gets his channel back up and running. They are better at videos like this than I am, for definite, so go check them out. I don't usually do the news bits because it's no offense to those guys, but it feels to me like somebody else is handing me something to talk about. And I mean, anything I do could be hey, WWE gave me a Raw to talk about, but I hope you guys know what I mean by that, and I hope nobody gets offended by that, because trust me, whatever I'm about to say will offend people enough. There's a lot of stuff that's been handed out in and then there's that too. There's a lot of stuff that's been absolutely spinning around the media the past couple of days, wrestling, to the point where wrestling and non-wrestling fans alike are asking me, you know, wrestling fans are asking me what I think of it, non-wrestling fans are asking me, like, what the fuck is this type thing. I got one is good, one is something I'm kind of excited about, the other three are pretty fucking terrible, to be honest. So we'll get the good out of the way, and that way anybody that doesn't want to hang around for the bad can bugger off. Thank you very much. Again, in the most respectful way possible. If you only want to watch part of the vid, that's obviously your prerogative. Tough Enough is coming back. Tough Enough is one of those things where when they did it on MTV, it was just another one of their reality TV shows. When they redid it, with Austin as the host, and with Trish and Bill DeMott, who I could do a whole other video on, but I won't, and Booker T as the coaches, it was better. It was exciting. We're going to get a new star out of it and all that sort of thing. And then Andy Levine, whoever the guy was that won, showed up on Raw to say that he'd won Tough Enough and never came back. So my thoughts are very wishy-washy on Tough Enough. I am going to give it a shot, though. It's kind of like Total Divas when it came out. It's like WWE's doing something different, but different doesn't always equal good. Just putting that one out there. But they did release a little bit of an idea of what the show was going to be like. WWE, as has been rumored for a long time, has some sort of deal with Austin, or some sort of bad blood, some heat, or whatever you want to call it, with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, the podcasts on the network haven't been Austin, they've been Jericho recently, and they've been fucking good. I'm just putting that one out there. The one that he did with Stephanie that's rearing ahead of a lot of criticism is bullshit. The one that he did with John Cena, he is talking to an old friend and gets berated in the media for sounding like he's talking to an old friend, which is kind of retarded. But but Austin's on the outs with the WWE for whatever the reason is. I mean, media being what it will be, we'll never know the real true reason, will we? Austin will have his side, WWE will have their side, or say nothing. But Tough Enough, what's been announced so far is the coaches, which is Booker T, Billy Gunn, and Lita. I mean, we're going to get 10 guys, 5 girls, and we're going to have a male winner and a female winner. It's all going to be good. Booker T is an interesting one, because he's entertaining. I mean, you know, this is the problem with not having notes. He's a fun character. He's been crazy. He's tagged up with Goldust. He did the King Booker thing, which we're now doing as King Barrett in the current realm. He's an entertaining guy, and he's maintained roles on panels and commentary teams, etc., because he brings a much more laid back attitude nowadays, and he brought some intensity when he was in his prime, obviously. So he will bring something to the table. A lot of people are shitting on the fact that Billy Gunn is being a coach in this, where there's better options, etc. One of the rumors at one point was that Ronda Rousey and fucking Samoa Joe and some other people were going to be coaches for this, and Taz, which would have been awesome. I'll give you that. But Billy Gunn, for whatever you want to say about him, was part of one of the most popular tag teams of his day and one of the most popular factions of his day. And he's pretty well decorated, and he's friggin' entertaining as shit, and he can still go somewhat, as we saw at WrestleMania. It's not a bad choice, and I'm sorry, again, I could do a whole other video on this. Lita, as the women's coach on this show, is fucking stellar. Just fucking stellar. I've always said on this channel that Trish Stratus and Lita was the modern-day female equivalent of Rock versus Austin. It really was. There was no other feud in wrestling, and I'm sorry, you can baby whoever you want to up from NXT and play them up to be whatever they want. Nothing got the mainstream wrestling's attention in the women's division like Trish Stratus and Lita. We had Trish Stratus when she was along for the ride with Austin and DeMott and Booker T back in the day. The other half of that equation is going to be coaching the girls in this, I don't know, season, incarnation, iteration, whatever you want to call it, of Tough Enough. That is a fantastic team of you know, as far as charisma, as far as knowing what you need to do to last in this business. I mean, Booker T's been WCW, he's had gold in WCW, WWE, TNA, and wherever else he's been. Billy Gunn, I don't think was ever in WCW. I'm sure somebody will correct me down in the box below. But as I said, part of two of the most powerful forces of the Attitude Era. I mean, granted, New Age Outlaws were part of DX, so you could say it's one. But whatever. Like, he knows what it's like to stick around for the long haul. His career survived the Billy and Chuck gimmick. So he's got something to offer in that regard. Never mind the fact that the guy still looks like he's cut out of fucking bricks. Like, let's be real. Lita, there's really nothing else I can say. Anybody else that I have liked in WWE in current realm, AJ Lee, Paige, and most recently Becky Lynch, I put them up against Lita as the measuring stick for counterculture, anti-Barbie doll, anti-diva women's wrestler, because they're who I like at the end of the day, are they not? Although I will say, on a totally unrelated note, Velvet Sky came back to TNA this past Friday on Impact, and god damn. There's going to be a discussion panel on this iteration of Tough Enough, which is something we've never really seen before, but we see them, the panel that we have before Raw every week, the pay-per-view live on the scene panels, and I really, at this point, I don't think there should be any discussion panel on any WWE programming that doesn't involve Renee Young and Corey Graves. But in this instance, the discussion panel consists of Daniel Bryan, Paige, and Hulk Hogan. Now, my feelings on Daniel Bryan's booking notwithstanding, Daniel Bryan will bring some legitimacy to this panel. I mean, the IWC, YWC basically sucks this guy's dick. It's a thing. I'm not saying that like like he doesn't deserve it, like he's not a fantastic wrestler, like he didn't have a great WrestleMania moment at WrestleMania 30 and all that. But really and truly, and if I'm honest and taking a look around, YWC as a whole pretty much suck this guy's dick. So you got people, there are people looking, sorry, I can't speak, obviously. There are people watching this video right now that didn't read what I read and weren't going to watch Tough Enough that will now, because because Daniel Bryan is on this panel. I guarantee it. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Good for him. He's earned that. He's earned that kind of cult following. Paige is relatively new. Paige is taking some time off to do a movie and then apparently doing this, so we're not going to see her in the Divas division for a while. Makes me question whether she's got an injury or she's just taking a break or whether they don't have anything for her at the moment. But Paige, if you go back to the in-studio interviews that that Michael Cole did with her at the studio and at the WWE Network recording studio, wherever they do those, she's not a bad talker. She's really not. She can say her piece, and she doesn't overwhelm the table. Unlike Hulk Hogan. And I mean, everybody says, you know, when Hulk Hogan came back to WWE, he's great for the company, he brings the nostalgia, he has the credit, like I said about Billy Gunn earlier, but like on a much larger scale, of he's been around for fucking ever. And people are always going to love Hulk. You can say everybody in the YWC can make their videos about how they hate Hulk Hogan. They can. And that's fine. And I've done it, and everybody else has done it, and you can make fun of TNA for having Immortal and all that sort of... You can make your videos about how much you hate Hulk Hogan. But if you're a wrestling fan, you love Hulk Hogan. It's a thing. Because, and this is one of those statements that I'm going to make that's going to be accused of me making a loaded statement to make a point and all that. We would not... I don't want to say we wouldn't be here. Obviously, we would be here. Our parents still would have had sex, etc., and we would all be born and, you know, propagate and all that sort of thing. We, as wrestling fans, wouldn't be where we are right now if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is majorly responsible for the success of WWE. WWE kept wrestling relevant for all these new spring-up companies that have been around now. ROH, PWG, TNA, people that want to say that NXT is another brand when it's really not. And all that sort of thing. Modern day wrestling would not exist without Hulk, as it exists now, would not exist without Hulk Hogan. That is a given fact. So you can hate Hulk Hogan as much as you want, and sometimes I do. But you love Hulk Hogan. And you can't take away from the fact that when Hulk Hogan walks into a room or walks in front of a camera, holy shit, that's Hulk Hogan. You just can't take that away. And the host of the whole damn show is Chris Jericho. Now, Chris Jericho, host of the Highlight Reel. Chris Jericho, host of Talk is Jericho. Chris Jericho, host of Live with Chris Jericho on the WWE Network, which is kind of funny because he's separated out those two shows and they still refer to it as a podcast, which is odd. Jericho is charisma in a bottle. He will keep everybody interested. He will be the Chris Hardwick of Tough Enough, except good. and that's fucking fantastic. This collection of people, you've got these 7 people, and we haven't even seen any of the contestants. I could do without them playing the video packages on Raw every week of all the freaking... I think when they show the video package on Raw of all the people that have applied, they purposely put in the ones that are fucking horrible to make us laugh. But we haven't seen any of the contestants yet, male or female. But these 7 people alone, as well as, you know, obviously... The article hinted that we're going to see Vince, we're going to see Triple H, obviously at one point or another. We're going to see Stephanie and John Cena and all that sort of thing. And I hope they do what they did with the Austin version of this, is just bring in different people every week. Bring in somebody who's from NXT. Bring in somebody that's only one step beyond where these guys are. Like, these guys are starting off from scratch. Bring in somebody from NXT, like a Neville, or, sorry, like a... Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens or whatever, that have taken one more step from them, and tell them what they're getting ready for. Just making that first step, because that, I think, in a lot of ways will be more helpful than having John Cena come out. Well, you know, how you get ahead in this business is hustle, loyalty, and respect, and see, that's the boss over there. You suck his dick, you get 25 world championships. I don't think you need that. I think Daniel Bryan could step down from the panel and have a day where he's actually interacting with them, which would be cool. I think if you got people like Seth Rollins, who is a product of NXT, who hasn't been on the main roster that long, you know, take a look at his trajectory. They revamped NXT, created an NXT title, put it on Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins went on to win WrestleMania against Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and walk out with the belt. Like, send somebody in there to motivate them like that. But that being said, Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan, Paige, Hulk Hogan, Booker T, Billy Gunn, and Lita are going to form whoever wins this thing. Which is fucking great. That is the one thing I'm looking forward to. Martha Hart, widow of Owen Hart. Woman who I have obviously, I don't know her. I'm not going to say that I know what she feels like, but I have immense sympathy for the woman. I really, really do. When it was announced a couple weeks ago by, like, DVDWrestlingNews.com or whatever, that there was going to be an Owen Hart documentary, an Owen Hart, you know, biography, career highlights, all that sort of thing, and it even had the full support of Martha Hart. Which is good, because we all know the standing history and the standing pattern of her standing in the way of Owen Hart being going into the Hall of Fame. That was announced that she was behind the DVD project, and then when she was interviewed, she had the following thing to say, and this is why I have some stuff here, just because I want to get quotes right, and I don't want to quote people badly and whatever. My children and I were unaware of the project until May 7th, when it was brought to our attention by a friend who had read about it online. Contrary to this report, we do not back or support this in any way, nor has WWE requested our backing or support. From what little we know of the project, it seems to be another attempt to exploit Owen's memory, his tragic death, for commercial gain. We have resisted this kind of initiative for almost 16 years now. If WWE really wanted to honor Owen's legacy, they would just let him rest in peace. Okay. There's no way for me to respond to this without sounding like a dick, so if you guys want to hate me in the comment section, go ahead. Martha Hart was was married to Owen Hart, the man. And she probably loved him to death, and they have kids, and it's wonderful, and she's lost her husband, and they've lost their dad, and whatever. Here's the problem, and this is where you get into, you know, a division or an argument that people get into a lot. Owen Hart, the character, is owned by WWE. Any promo that he cut, any footage that he shot backstage, any match that he's in, any pay-per-view that he was a part of, all of that material belongs to the WWE. And they can do what they want with it, realistically speaking. If they're doing a biography of somebody else, and, you know, when you get the biography is usually like 2 discs, third disc is all matches. If, you know, I can't even think of a good example. If they wanted to do a Jeff Jarrett not that they would, because Global Force Wrestling is a thing. If they wanted to do a documentary on Jeff Jarrett, and they wanted to include some matches where he and Owen were going for the for the Tag Team Championships, which they did. I don't remember the results, because it was a long time ago, etc., etc., etc. They can do it. They've got the footage. Because they're characters, and that footage is copyright WWE. You see the little signature at the end of every show, at the end of every pay-per-view, at the end of every YouTube video, etc., etc., etc. It all belongs to the WWE. So, again, I'm sort of at a loss, because there's no way I can say this without sounding like a dick, but they don't need her permission. Really. Obviously, as far as human decency and courtesy goes, you want to extend the olive branch, extend the arm, say, look, we want to do this for your husband in appreciation for what he did for us, for this business, for his fans, etc. But she, from everything I've read, and it is only from what I've read, let me be clear about that, I'm not saying this is fact, but from everything that I've read, she's just a bitter, mourning widow, which sounds cold and sounds heartless, and now that I've said it, she's a bitter, angry, vengeful, mourning widow. Her big thing, or one of her big things, is she doesn't want Owen to be used for the company to make money. She would get a cut of it, first of all. She would get Owen's cut of it, and it would be given to her and her kids, etc. So that's a bullshit argument. They're gonna make money anyway. If they don't make a video about Owen, they'll make a video about somebody else that Owen had matches with and put the thing in there, and it won't, all that'll happen there is the focus won't be on Owen. But she's a bitter person, because what was it, Over the Edge, or On the Edge, or Get to the Edge, or something like that, the pay-per-view where this happened, and the pay-per-view went on. I mean, they had a solemn moment, they filled the fans in on what happened, and during the next few matches, they kept us on commentary, they kept us updated as to what was going on. But there's a lot of people, especially now, because this is resurfacing again, a lot of people want to stand on pulpits as well WWE did her wrong, because they should have stopped the show, they just should have pushed it to next week. Here's the thing. here is the thing. There are the cliche is the show must go on. And so that's what you did, and it's just a mentality, and we just did it because that's the mentality. That is a really nice way of looking at it, but if you want to look at it from a factual, from a concrete, from a not just cliche thing, there were people in the crowd that paid their tickets to see a whole pay-per-view. There were people online or on TV ordering the pay-per-view that we didn't have the network back then, had paid their $50 or $60 for a pay-per-view. There were storylines that needed to progress. There were superstars that hadn't performed yet that were depending on that night's pay-per-view payday, as cold as that sounds. The venue was promised X amount of entertainment. You can't do that. People paid for a show, whether it was on TV, whether it was live. Superstars spent the money, spent the travel time, spent the lodging and all that because they were expecting that pay-per-view payday. And you know what? In all honesty, and I've heard a lot of freaking idiots online recently saying, oh, they could have just pushed it to next weekend. Okay, so not only do you want to say, fuck whatever WWE already had planned for the following weekend, which had probably been set in place for a while, but you're also saying, in that same venue, for those same people, fuck whatever that venue had planned the following weekend, and fuck whatever the people that were there in the seat because they paid for a seat live, whatever they're doing next weekend. Okay, well, you paid for your show, you're going to get a show, just, here, hang out for 7 days, we'll be back in a minute. It's not realistic. And because those fans, and because Martha Hart and the Hart family are so, I have to say this, they're so butthurt that the show didn't stop, because they have such a hard bias that way, and such an unreasonable bias that way, Martha Hart cannot morally, legally, financially, or otherwise be the sole person to have the kill switch when it comes to anything to do with her husband's legacy and what they want to do with him. I say the same thing about the Hall of Fame. I really, really do. If you can't induct Owen Hart the person because he's passed on and rest in peace and all that sort of thing, I'm an Owen Hart fan too. But if you can't induct the man into the Hall of Fame because she put some kind of block on it, find a way to induct his body of work. Say, in writing, say you're inducting the character Owen Hart, or say you're inducting the character the Blue Blazer, the King of Hearts, the Black Heart, the Rocket, whatever you want to say. Word around it. Just word around it. Because Martha Hart, I mean, God bless her, she went through something absolutely horrible. She really did. And yes, as I've said a bunch of times already, I know I'm going to sound like a dick for saying this. But, and okay, something I didn't mention as well. Yes, if it's true that WWE never went to her and never got her approval, and then went around saying that they did, that's also a dick move. I'll give you that one. But here's the thing. As much as I said, as much as it's a courtesy, as much as it's, extending the olive branches, extending the hand and being supportive and all that sort of thing, she shouldn't have the say yes or no. She shouldn't 100% be able to say whether this happens or not. She can have her say, and the people making the actual decisions can take that into account. She should not be the one, standing there with the kill switch in her hand for everything to do with Owen Hart. Because there are many, 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 many people's careers that revolved very closely around Owen Hart. People that had rivalries with Owen Hart, like The Rock, like Triple H, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You remember what Owen Hart did to Stone Cold Steve Austin and all that sort of thing. I'm not trying to say Owen Hart's fault, but there's a lot of people whose careers are very intertwined with Owen Hart. If you say that all of Owen Hart's matches and documented footage and whatever are completely off limits because Martha says so, now you are putting your own husband in the same category as Chris Benoit, which is fucking sad and which is abhorrent. And the fact that those words are coming out of my mouth makes me want to vomit a little because I don't want to make that comparison. But what WWE did to Benoit, for a bunch of really good reasons, is what Martha is doing to her own husband because she's angry. And the thing, and what she says in there, somewhere in there, this is another attempt to exploit Owen Hart's legacy for tragedy and commercial gain. So you have to look at that from a certain point and think that she thinks she's taking a financial stab at the WWE, and she's not. At this point, as she says, 16 years later, there are still people out there clamoring for Owen Hart to be in the Hall of Fame, and clamoring at the WWE and talking about how the WWE Hall of Fame is incomplete without Owen Hart. How can you not include him? You guys are fucking assholes. This Hall of Fame isn't real. And there's a bunch of other people you could say WWE hasn't inducted because of bitterness and rivalries and bad blood and bad water under the bridge and all that sort of thing. And if you want to criticize WWE for that, then I guess that's your prerogative. Here we have a situation where a bunch of people are shitting on the WWE, and their hands are tied because they want to be nice to this woman who has, as I say, has every reason to be, but is driven by her anger and her bitterness. And it's sad because all she's doing at this point, she's not hurting the WWE. All she's doing right now at this point is saying, hey, you guys, if any of you guys that are old enough, like me, to remember Owen Hart, any of you guys that saw the fantastic wrestler it is, I'm not going to let you celebrate his career. I'm not going to let you say that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to let you say, you know, Owen, we're sorry for what happened to you. Thanks for all the years of entertainment and all that sort of thing. I'm not going to let you do that. The fans, I'm going to stop the fans from getting closure. Because there are people, as I say, I'm an Owen Hart fan. There are people who that I know personally, way back in the day, who bawled for days when Owen Hart died. And the thing about that is it's so friggin' short and it's so friggin' instant. And, you know, when something happens that quickly and that unexpectedly, there is no friggin' closure. And I'm not trying to get super sappy on this, so I'm sorry if it sounds like I am. What Martha Hart is doing is she's right now denying her husband's fans closure. And she says that if WWE really wanted to honor Owen Hart, you know, they're exploiting him, they're disrespecting him, and all this stuff and all that stuff. What I don't understand is WWE basically wanting to make a DVD about Owen's career, showing how great he is. Think about her kids. She says think about her kids. I don't understand if a WWE rep or whatever, you know, after the DVD is all said and done, shows up at their front door and gives their kid a copy of the DVD. Hey kid, I don't know what his kids' names are, and I won't even pretend that I do, but say, you know, Jimmy and Janie or whatever. Hey Jimmy, here, check out this DVD that we did for your dad. Check it out. Look how friggin' great your dad was. I don't know how she can sit in the background and say, oh my god, get out of here, you're being so disrespectful. The financial thing is a really, really weak argument, because they would have to, if Owen Hart was alive, they would have to give him royalties for the DVD. Because he's not, whoever his inheritor is, on his will or his last rites and testament or whatever the terminology is, which I'm assuming would be his wife and his kids, would get the money from that. I'm not saying she's out for money, but I'm saying, like, her financial argument is bullshit. Her disrespect argument is bullshit to a certain extent, and I hate to come up here and do a video where it sounds like I'm, you know, pounding down on this woman who is a widow at the end of the day, but because of her emotional involvement in the decision, she shouldn't be the one making the decision. And on behalf of, you know, me and anybody else that knows how great Owen Hart was, is fucking, you don't have to like it, but give Owen what he deserves for us. And I will stop there on that one. You know, let the hateful comments go down. I'm sure a million and one people will misconstrue what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that I don't respect the woman. I'm not saying that I don't have incredible sympathy for what she went through watching her husband, you know, die on live television, which is tremendously horrible and something I cannot even imagine. I can't sit here and pretend that I can imagine what that would be like, because I'd be lying, and I'd be a dick then, would I not? But at the same time, when you have somebody that's in the public eye and they die, yes, you lost them, but in a very, very different and, yes, smaller way, we lost them too. Alright? I'm sure you had a funeral and a service and all that sort of thing where you and your family got to mourn him. The rest of the business, whoever the wrestlers were that were closest to Owen, like, your family and friends got to mourn him. His brothers and sisters in the business got to mourn him. You got to go out to that next layer of the onion and let the how can I say, let the fans that didn't get a chance to mourn him, that didn't get an invitation to that funeral, mourn him in our own way as fans. And as I say, I hope that doesn't make me sound like a dick, but it is what it is. Now, going from that to somebody who's very easy to make fun of, especially in the views of the YWC, Vince Russo. And everybody's had their say on Vince Russo, and nobody's gonna like what I have to say, and that's just fine and wonderful. Sami Zayn, the Zaniac from NXT, who is, let's face it, fucking phenomenal, had his first Raw match this week on Raw against John Cena, and it was fucking fantastic. The problem I have with that is merely, the match was great. Even if the match had sucked, merely the fact that it happened, the more eccentric NXT fans would have claimed that it was great because it's somebody from NXT. The mentality of any match that Neville has is great. Which it is, and please don't get me wrong, the guys that have come up from NXT are great. They are fantastic. Even the Ascension, which everybody's already given up on. But every match that Neville has is great because he's an NXT guy. The problem with that being is Neville's on the Raw roster. You don't get to say, look how great the NXT guys are, and use Neville as an example because Neville's not in NXT anymore. Same can be said for Bray Wyatt. Same can be said for the Wyatt family. Same can be said for Seth Rollins, etc. And I could go on and on for days. Sami Zayn debuted on, on Raw. Sorry guys, you know how it is. To much fanfare, in his hometown, introduced by Bret Hart of all people, and then had a fantastic match, and it was with John Cena. Now. Anybody and everybody in the YWC credits themselves for, you know, I got balls, I don't care what anybody else says, I'm gonna say what I have to say. And if the match had been shit, if Sami Zayn had botched, or whatever, if I had seen something bad in the match, which I really didn't. I mean, John Cena's selling of the Blue Thunder Bomb was a little awkward because he's a bigger guy. That's about the only criticism I have of that match. Vince Russo has a different opinion. Vince Russo came out and speaking against the Raw in general, but this particular segment was comments that he made about the match. And I'm going to read you what Vince Russo said, or as it's been quoted on No DQ. So I might not be verbatim word for word, but I'm taking it from No DQ. So if this is wrong, blame Aaron Rift. Everybody's running to the offense of WWE, claiming that Raw was a great show on Monday night. Why was it so great in their opinion? Simply because an NXT wrestler that they all mark out for, Sami Zayn, made his surprise appearance on the WWE's premiere show. I can only imagine that when Sami got introduced by Bret Hart and came out to answer John Cena's Raw challenge, the internet wrestling community, it was the equivalent of Jesus himself showing up unannounced at the Sea of Galilee. But to the casual wrestling fan, nobody cared. To them, this was a jobber and nothing more, and so they indeed turned back to watching hoops. I'm guessing that basketball got good ratings on Monday. Sure, I don't know. Raw is a television show, and Sami Zayn is not a television star, nor will he be anytime soon. Sami is an exceptional wrestler on an exceptional wrestling show, and the only people that care about him are those diehard wrestling fans that are looking for 5-star matches that the massive don't give a shit about. Now, problem with this being is he is saying that the internet fans love him, love Sami Zayn, which they do. The casual fans don't give a shit, which they may or may not, and I'm not going to say because I'm by definition not a casual fan. Problem being is you can't speak for the casual viewers and say that you're not a member of the internet wrestling community if you went and searched out this blog, if you went and searched out his wrestling podcast, if you're a member of the YWC, if you're one of these guys that's always touting the NXT flag, because I'm sorry, casual fans don't watch NXT. Hardcore wrestling fans that go the extra mile, that want to see these guys, and it's so important to see these guys before they debut on Raw, those are the hardcore wrestling fans. So the casual wrestling fans do what they do, they watch Raw and they go to sleep. I'm not going to lie. On the odd occasion, I miss those days. But because, you know, I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing this, and I think, like a lot of us think nowadays, and I analyze the fuck out of everything, it just is what it is. But anybody that reacts to this and says, oh, no, no, he's a star, he's a star. Anybody that's reacting to this or saw this, whatever, is an internet wrestling fan, is a hardcore wrestling fan, or else they wouldn't give a shit what Russo has to say. So you can't speak on behalf of the casual wrestling fans, first of all. Second of all, he's saying, if you listen to what he's saying, Sami Zayn is an exceptional wrestler. And he is. On an exceptional wrestling show, which NXT is. And this, if nothing else, this feeds the NXT fans all that bullshit, NXT is better than Raw and all that sort of thing. But there's a big difference between being a wrestler and being a superstar. And he says he's not a TV star, he's not a superstar. Now, I don't know why so many people disagree with this, because I've said for years that there is a great difference between a wrestler and a superstar. A wrestler is somebody, okay, I'll use the example that I'm sure you guys all want me to use. A great wrestler is Daniel Bryan. A superstar is John Cena. Now, would you want Sami Zayn to come up to Raw and mainstream WWE in general and get the respect that Daniel Bryan gets, or would you want him to come up and be a goofy superstar like John Cena is? Being a goofy superstar like John Cena is gets you to the top, gets you to the friggin' dance, gets you to the main events and the ridiculous amounts of championships and all that sort of thing. But who do you love? Who do you respect? Who do you celebrate when they win, mourn when they lose? It's the guys like Daniel Bryan, it's the guys like CM Punk, it's the Cesaros and whatever. All of those guys that, WWE doesn't see as a superstar, but knows are talented wrestlers. What he's saying is what you guys are saying, is you want better wrestlers and all that sort of thing. But, be that as it may, that's semantics that most people don't see. Most people just see that this guy is out there, and how dare he bash one of our guys. Which is funny, because the mainstream theme in the YWC right now is just shit on everything. You shit on John Cena even though he's improving. You shit on the Bellas even though they are night and day from when they debut. You shit on the New Day because it's not the gimmick you thought it was going to be. Never mind the fact that they're a phenomenal three-man team in the ring. Go back to main event a couple months ago when it was New Day versus Cesaro, Kid, and Adam Rose. Look at those 6 guys, and other than Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, you wouldn't suspect a fantastic match. But it's one of the best matches that's happened this year so far. I hate to break it to you, but, it is what it is. You've got these guys that are phenomenal wrestlers, and it's just bad. But YWC, their thing right now is anybody that succeeds, anybody that gets more than a sliver that, anybody that gets a sliver more than what you in your own mind decide they deserve, you shit on it until it is metaphorically 6 feet under. Now, all Russo has done is do the exact same thing to one of your guys. There's a lot of people that boo anybody. They will destroy anybody that faces Daniel Bryan. Just because it's what they do. I come up with my very controversial views on Daniel Bryan, and I get the proverbial gun pointed to my head. Now, Russo's not in the company. Russo's not in any company. He's not, you want to talk about how, he killed WCW, he almost killed TNA. The flip side of that is he was also one of the architects of the Attitude Era, so you can shut the fuck up with that shit. But he's not in any company right now. He's got a fucking blog. He's got a YouTube channel, which makes him part of the YWC. So, for all of you that are denying that anybody should listen to this guy, and all of you that are like, oh, this guy's not entitled to his opinion, then you're not entitled to yours. Really, you're mad because more people listen to Russo's opinion than yours. You're mad that people might listen to Russo's opinion over yours, when really, at the end of the day, he doesn't have any effect on anything other than more people listen to him than you. The guy's entitled to his opinion, and here's the kick. Here's the kick that nobody's gonna like. You can say that Vince Russo, and I'm not defending Vince Russo, I think he's a dick too. I think what he said about Sami Zayn is bullshit. I will give you that. But here's the other thing that I will admit as well. Vince Russo knows more about wrestling than me. Knows more about wrestling than you. Knows more about wrestling than the next person that's making a video that you watch. Unless the next video or podcast that you watch is a you know, the Ross Report or Talk is Jericho or something like that from somebody in the business. And I'm not given that whole... Here's the other thing I was saying. People always resent when wrestlers say fans shouldn't talk because they're not in the business. We should. We are fully entitled to all of our own opinions. You're entitled to yours. I'm entitled to mine. But what I will say, where the wrestlers are half right, is because the wrestlers are actually there. They're actually seeing what's going on. The personalities are actually there. The interviewers, the Michael Coles, the Jim Rosses, the managers, I don't know, the Lanas and the Zeb Coulters and the additional characters and whoever else, the people in the booking meetings that actually know what's there. I don't care if you like them or not. I don't care if you agree with them or not. Vince Russo almost killing one company, almost killing another company, also means that he knows through his own failures what doesn't work. He's been backstage in 3 relatively large companies. If you want to include TNA, 3. If you don't, you got WWF and WCW. He's been back there. He's failed. He's fallen on his ass. But what do you get from falling on your ass? You get a very wide perspective on what doesn't work. So yes, his opinion is no more valid than yours or mine, except for the fact that he has the experience, and this is where the difference lies. I'm not saying that you should listen to any wrestler that says you can't have your opinion because you're not in the business, because that statement is crap. What I will say is Russo has more knowledge about everything going on and you know, statistics and all that bullshit than you or I do, and he's not in the business anymore. He's not writing for TNA anymore. WCW's not around anymore. You know, WWE's not going to touch him with a 10-foot pole. So at the end of the day, he's just another keyboard warrior, just like me, just like you. And just because he's just like me and just like you, doesn't mean you go around telling nobody should listen to him. Because if he had made the same exact comments about The Miz or The Big Show or John Cena, all of you that are bashing him right now would be touting his praises. No matter what you thought of him, it's all got to do with the fact that you don't agree with what he said. And he went after your guys. The YWC doesn't like the fact that they've been YWC'd by Vince Russo. And that's a fact. It is. It's just a fact. He is one of us, whether you like it or not. And the bottom line is one of the thoughts I heard that was absolutely fucking stupid was, you know, Vince Russo is not solely to blame. All the dirt sheets that publish what he has to say are to blame. Those same dirt sheets publish random videos from guys like us. I have been on No DQ. Now, granted, it was because Deluxe Man was kissing my ass at the time, but I have been on No DQ. It didn't really help me that much. And speaking of Deluxe Man, he's been on No DQ, and apparently it worked well for him. So the thing is, the guy that's more qualified, nobody should listen to, but the guys that are not qualified at all, and I'm including myself in that, deserve all the credit in the world, which is bizarre. And at the end of the day, no matter how many people listen to him or not, he is one guy with one opinion, and he already has the dagger hanging over his head that he killed 2 companies. So what are the chances, whether people listen to him or not, that they're going to listen to a damn thing that he says? Really. Sami Zayn had a great debut. Yes, one person disagreed, and because you know that one person that disagreed is well known, you're all shitting your pants, and I think it's fucking hysterical, because me, as a Sami Zayn fan, you know, maybe I'm a bigger Sami Zayn fan than you are, because I personally believe that when Sami Zayn makes his Raw debut proper, he's not going to be taken down by a goofball like Vince Russo. Like, it's just a thing. You guys out there, and I'm not going for everybody, honestly, because some people that watch this video might just be casual viewers that catch a random Raw when they can. But you know the ones I'm talking about, the ones on NXT that think NXT can do no wrong, and that's why they have such a friggin' shining record and all that sort of thing. You guys should be as behind Sami Zayn as I am, because I believe in Sami Zayn enough that Vince Russo isn't going to take Sami Zayn down. The comparison that I think of is great is when everybody got upset that Rusev and Bray Wyatt respectively lost to John Cena at the past 2 WrestleManias. Yeah, they lost. Bigger portion of that being that they got to face John Cena at WrestleMania. Now, I'm not as worried as some people are, because I think that the Bray Wyatt character, or maybe not so much Rusev, I'll take that one back, but Bray Wyatt's got a character that's so fucking great. I'm not scared of what one John Cena loss will do to him. And it's bizarre because the people that are sitting here, and I'm sorry I have to say it, sucking NXT's dick, should be as behind these stars as I am, and as confident in these stars as I am, to say no pipsqueak, no keyboard warrior, which is the new cliche, whatever, no keyboard warrior, no webcam, you know, aficionado like Vince fucking Russo is gonna take down Sami Zayn, because I'll sit here and say it's Sami fucking Zayn. I don't know. The last one, and here I gotta bring it back down because this is oh dear. There's a lot of people out there that give wrestling a bad name. There's a lot. There's what New Jack did in the mass transit incident. Obviously, there's Chris Benoit. There's the kids that go to high school and hurt each other practicing suplex in the lunchroom and all that sort of thing, like I did when I was in high school. I actually had a friend that did a perfect swanton bomb off a table and the guy moved and he fucked up his shoulder royally. It was really bad. There's people in the YWC, and I've said this in an entirely different context, that just in their personas and their over-the-top bullshit attitudes make wrestling and wrestling fans look bad, but honestly, that's just my opinion. The people that are really going to hurt wrestling, and the people that are going to be the downfall of wrestling in as far as public opinion and all that sort of thing, right up there with Chris Benoit, has to be Scott Hoffman. Scott Hoffman, if you guys go and Google it or whatever, is a guy who's like 20, 21. He's younger than me, for sure. Somebody recently on YouTube decided to tell people how old I am because that was apparently relevant. But this guy's a good couple of years younger than me, and he killed his live-in girlfriend's son. Because this guy had a live-in girlfriend by the name of Sierra Schumacher. I hope I'm pronouncing that rightly and being as respectful as possible. Had an 18-month-old and named by the name of Bryson. Was babysitting for her because she went out for a night with her friends or whatever, and he was doing wrestling moves to the kid. And I'm not purposely talking slow or trying to sound like an idiot, guys. I'm trying to bring this back down to a level of respect, because this is pretty fucked up, if I'm honest. You know, he bounced him on the bed a couple of times and rah, all kinds of fun. You know, rock bottom, the kid basically picked him up and put him down again. And then proceeded to give this kid the last ride. Now, take the Undertaker influence out of it, that means this guy decided to powerbomb an 18-month-old. And missed. Translation, he threw an 18-month-old head first into the ground. Obviously, the kid died. The kid showed up at the hospital with a neck broken in 2 places and a collapsed fucking lung. I'm not... I can't, like... I don't even know, guys. I will say, because of the way the the way the media is and all that sort of thing, WWE had to put a response out, and they've got publicity people that are better at putting words together for something like this than I am, for damn sure. And they said the following. And again, this is taken from no DQ, so if I'm misquoting or misspeaking in any way, shape, or form, I'm sorry in advance, but I'm going with the sources that I have. There's no excuse for a 20-year-old grown man to assault an 18-month-old child, no matter what, said a WWE representative. Using the flimsy excuse of emulating a wrestling maneuver does not absolve Brandon Hoffman from this abhorrent crime. The death of Brian Shoemaker is a tragedy, and WWE offers its condolences to the mother, Sierra Shoemaker. It really is true, because as soon as you say it was a wrestling move, the focus gets off this guy. And I had a long, I'm not going to lie, I thought about doing this video for a couple of days. I had a long conversation with with Steffi Sunshine, who you guys might remember was my former co-host on the No Holds Barred show, and we got a lot of perspective, and you know, we disagreed on some stuff, and having that conversation really helped me put my own thing into place. This guy is an idiot, first and foremost, and fucking deserves to be powerbombed himself, and I'm not even saying that to be funny. He deserves to have somebody come along and crack his neck and deflate his lung and have him breathe his last breath so that this woman could possibly have her child back. The shitty thing, I mean, there's many shitty things about this. I mean, obviously, what happened? This was assault. Like, wrestling's gonna get drawn into the mix, and the media's gonna go that way. This guy assaulted a kid and killed him, and the mother's got to live with that for the rest of her life. And you know, the guy's a piece of shit. It's tragedy, and there's nothing. Like I say, there's nothing else you can say. There's no more elaborating you can do on the story, as some fucking moron threw a baby head first into the ground. Like, take all the wrestling context out of it. You took a 18-month-old and dropped them on their fucking head. Now, where we have to take the focus off that, and I know that that's where the focus needs to be, but where I have to step back is look at it as how it affects us. We can't be there for this woman, Sierra Shoemaker, whatever. We, as the wrestling community, can't go to her and offer our condolences and whatever, and questionable whether she'd want to hear from us or not. Anyways, I'm sure, and you guys can tell me down in the box below, like, what the hell could we, as wrestling fans, say to this woman? But, like, at the same time, anybody that watches wrestling, and, like, you guys can love me or hate me. I know a lot of you don't like me. I know a lot of you watch my videos to find out the things about me that you don't like and respond to them and whatever. This is a little beyond that. I think you and I and anybody else that's watching this video know that if you're a wrestling fan, there are certain, how do you say it? There are certain stereotypes that come with it. There are certain stereotypes of wrestling fans, and there's certain stereotypes of wrestling, both of which get hammered down on us all the time. You know, we're all inbred rednecks sitting in a trailer in our boxers, you know, fucking our step cousins, and just we're big violent assholes. And something like this doesn't help that. Something like this makes it hard for me, you, and all of us to defend the thing that we like to do, when it shouldn't, because this event doesn't have anything to do with wrestling. I've said the same thing about kids that watch slasher movies. If a kid brings a knife, or what was the example I used? I'm sorry, guys. Like I say, this is off the cuff. The example I used the other day in conversation with somebody was the Kill Bill movies. The Kill Bill movies were exceptionally popular. When they first came out, I didn't see them until a couple years ago, but whatever. Now, if a young lady goes to high school, brings a sword to high school, and pulls that sword on their friend, somebody at some point along the way in the media is going to say, oh, look at the bad effect that this Kill Bill movie has had on this person or whatever. Or if, you know, somebody watches a boxing movie, somebody watches Rocky and then goes to school the next day and punches their kid, somebody's going to find a way to link it to Rocky. They're not going to look at it as a simple, look, these kids are being assholes to each other. It's the same thing here, and that very mentality is fed by the media. And I'm not going to get on a big pulpit about how I'm against the media and how the media are fucking morons, let's be real. But I don't know. The only thing I can think of is, you know, watching wrestling claims another life is a bigger fucking headline than the simple fact that some guy in the States somewhere accidentally killed his girlfriend's baby, which should be an abhorrent enough headline on its own, should it not? But I mean, and I don't want to name drop because she's definitely not the only one. People like Nancy Grace that have had a hard-on for WWE since the Benoit tragedy are going to take this and fucking run with it, aren't they? Look at the bad effects of wrestling on whatever, when really it's the bad effects of being a fucking moron. And that's about it. It's the same as, I don't know, anything. Friggin', you got some kid that takes martial arts lessons in his free time, goes home or goes to school the next day and beats the crap out of one of his friends. Somebody somewhere along the way finds out that he watches Power Rangers. Oh, look at the bad effects of children's television and cartoons and whatnot. I don't know. It sucks what happened. It sucks what this is going to do to wrestling. I guarantee you we'll never see Undertaker use the last ride again. And I mean, not that that's horrible. We see Undertaker once a year. Excuse me. But like anybody that uses a powerbomb, like Kevin Owens, who's just now getting his foot in the door in NXT as their champion, his move is a pop-up powerbomb. Batista, if he comes back, his move is a powerbomb. We've already seen what's happened with moves like the original Dirty Deeds and with the curb stomp and all that sort of thing. The ripple effect, the one that's going to suffer from this, and I really don't want to say this like this because obviously all the sympathy should go to this woman who's just lost her kid, and it should, and I think, but like beyond that, in a sort of a ripple effect kind of way, the one that's going to suffer from this is WWE, because again, you got to go for the big headlines. If this happened and this kid died of a powerbomb, there could be 25 people in TNA doing power bombs, but WWE is a bigger fish. They're the ones you want to put on your fucking mantle. They're the ones that are going to have to worry about it from now on. We're the ones that are going to have to worry, again, even more so, about the negative stereotypes and the negative opinions, or the negative assumptions. Assumptions is the word I'm looking for. Because this guy was obviously a wrestling fan. If he's doing the rock bottom and the fucking last ride and all this other bullshit. But merely the fact that he's a wrestling fan puts him in the same category as me, as you, as whatever. Not because we're all fucking killers, but we're all fucking wrestling fans. So if you look at it from that context, this guy's in the same group as us. Which means anybody dumb enough or naive enough or closed-minded enough to come to conclusions like this, you know, look at what this guy was a wrestling fan, look what he did. You know, myself, Heel Steven, OKayFabe, Kristen Guapo, if you're Deluxe Man, if you're Preston, if you're Mark Pearson, if you're friggin' Nature Girl 30, because of shit like this, we will get painted with the same brush, and we will continue to reap the consequences of these bullshit fucking scenarios. But the problem is you can't even say that they're bullshit. We can't even, every time this happens, we lose a little bit of our ground because we can't say that it's bullshit, because there are fucking morons out there doing shit like this and making the stereotypes true. And I don't know. So my condolences, honestly, go out to, not that she'll ever see this, but my personal condolences go out to Sierra Shoemaker. Fucking horrible loss that none of us can even comprehend. It really is. But, yeah, the shit's fucked. Anyways, I've rambled for long enough, and like I say, most of it was sort of rambling and tangenting onto nothing and nowhere. So if you if you stayed with me through all of this, I know a lot of what I've said will not be very popular, and if I have offended, I will say that whereas I usually don't care, like if I'm doing a wrestling review or if I'm doing a pay-per-view review or anything like that, and I don't really care whose feelings I hurt. Something like this, if there's anything I've said in this video that genuinely offends you, I truly am sorry. Just like I said, this is why I don't usually do news clip type videos, but there's just such an avalanche of bullshit going on this week. Tough Enough looks like it could be good, and the rest of it is this, you know, Martha Hart, Vince Russo, and this fucking whack job Scott Huffman, who thought it would be cool to powerbomb an 18-month-old. Like, fuck me. Alright, guys, I don't know what, it's one of those weeks, I don't know what to say. As I say, I will be out of town next week, so there will be no video content on this channel for next week. Which means you won't hear from me until after Payback. Payback looks like it could be fun. I hope it is. As is becoming the new tradition, my brief thoughts on Payback will be the first part of my Raw review, and we will go from there. yeah, hopefully the next video I do will be a lot lighter than this one, but Jesus. You ever look around the wrestling bubble that we live in and just be like, what the fuck am I doing here? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Thought I'd share with you guys. You guys are the ones that love me and the ones that hate me are in the bubble here with me, so let me know what you think of all of this. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.